yogis. This sequence requires 2 belts. And I'm showing the classical yoga belts that are buckle belts. But in case you have to stop the video and create something for yourself, just know that the belt loops are about this size. So if you're using scarves or some other kind of belting system, see if you can get 2 of these. This sequence is also going to be really good on knees. So if you have knee issues or you want to prevent knee issues, this sequence could help you. 2 bricks as well. And again, if you don't have bricks, something firm that you can place your hands on and will support you. 2 bricks will do very well. Chair, blanket. If you've got those things, you're ready to go. If you don't have them quite ready beside you, turn the video off, go and get what you need, come back, and we'll begin. And we're going to begin today with a series of postures that come directly from the medical classes in Pune. These postures are particularly for the shoulders, and they were created and practiced for those who experience bursitis in the shoulder, the little sacs of liquid in the shoulders that keep the shoulders slippery, can become inflamed and painful, and something called a frozen shoulder, meaning that it's difficult for the arm to lift in this way or this way because the shoulder joint is painful. So these little postures can be very helpful. I'm turning my back to you. So that as I stand with feet together, legs together, I'm just barely able to reach the wall. Now, I'm standing a little too far from the wall because if I spread my palm, you can see my body is leaning toward the wall, a little. So I step just a little closer to the wall, try it again. As I extend the arm a little bit lower than shoulder height, I'm spreading finger mounds, thumb mounds, and reaching for the wall. This doesn't look very significant. It just looks like an arm stretching to the wall. But there's several things happening. This shoulder blade is descending down the back. And at the same time, this elbow joint is firming up away from the floor. Elbow joint firm, shoulder blade descending. Now, I check to see, is this inner elbow joint, it's slipped up, it's facing the ceiling. Can I turn it down so that it faces forward, but at the same time get the shoulder blade down the back? That's my work. Inner elbow crease forward, shoulder blade down the back. The circumference of the palm spreading on the wall. This might be plenty of work on your shoulder joint if you're working with painful shoulders. But if you can take the next step, try this. Here the arm is turning in the shoulder joint to take the fingers back. Or this, the palm is facing the floor. I have to be careful not to hyperextend, not to push the elbow joint in, but to keep this area long. Then I turn to the second side. Now, the marks of my feet are on the mat, so I know my distance from the wall. That's very handy. Just barely reaching to the wall. See how the hand is slightly lower than shoulder height. At the same time, this inner elbow crease is facing directly forward, and that shoulder blade is gliding down the back. And I'm firming the elbow away from the floor. All these things, all these actions are subtle. You don't see much happening as this arm reaches for the wall, but you'll feel it happening as you take inner elbow forward, shoulder blade down the back. And then check to see, is it possible to turn the arm bone so the fingers point back? Without hyperextending the elbow, now you might have to soften the elbow a little and draw up from inner elbow into shoulder joint and draw the area of the chest away from the arm in this fashion. Can you turn the fingers down toward the floor? And get the heel of the hand on the wall and and spread the fingers and thumbs away from each other without forcing the elbow joint into the body to hyperextend. And now lengthening the inner arm toward the shoulder joint. And then release. And just extend into both fingertips, both hands. Come to Tadasana. Spread the collarbones. Release the shoulder blades down the back and then forward onto the rib cage. This second posture requires some degree of sensitivity, as all yoga does. Turning sideways to the wall, my hip is coming close to the wall. If I had a shoulder issue, my hand might be here on the wall. Or if I hadn't a shoulder issue, my hand might slide up to here. I spread the fingers. And now this side of the rib cage, this side that's at the wall, has to ease forward. This has the effect of stretching the front of the shoulder joint open. To release this posture, I just let the arms swing down, take a little step forward, and then reverse. So now left side body is at the wall, palm is stretching back, palm is spread, and now the side of the rib cage that's at the wall eases forward. This again has the effect of opening or stretching the front of the shoulder joint. To release this posture, we step forward a little and let the arm drop down. Now we're going to work with the brick, or some facsimile of the brick. And the brick is going to be stepped away from the wall and parallel to the wall, parallel to the ends of the mat. I'm just pulling my mat in against the wall for stability. Working with the brick is very useful if the knees are tender and you want to do your standing posture practice. Here's how it can work. I stand with the left heel at the wall. This gives me the stability of the wall. The foot is turned slightly away from the wall, and I stride in with the right foot. My hand is at the wall, and I'm here for stability. And I'm just inching the brick away from the wall. I want a 4-foot stride, and now I bring the brick under the toe mounds. Do you see the toe mounds are on the brick? All 5 toe mounds on the brick. The brick is still parallel to the wall, and this heel in line with the arch of the back foot. Preparing to bend the knee. It sounds pretentious, but here's what the actions are. If we think of the shin, this is the shin. If we think of the shin as a knife edge, and as it cuts forward, the muscles of the thighs draw back in this direction. The shin cuts forward, the thigh muscles draw deep into the groins, and the thigh descends toward the floor. Then the arm expands. The center of the chest is facing directly forward. It's only the head that turns for Virabhadrasana 2. I'm conscious that this bent knee has to reside in line with the center of the foot. Shoulder blades rest down, collarbones go wide. The warrior is on the move. To come out of the posture, the knee reaches back along the thigh. The foot steps down, the arms release. We can heel and toe and step the feet together and change sides. Hand to the wall, heel to the wall, foot stepped away and up. And we can just take a moment here and align the brick with the back of the toe mounds. So toe mounds on the brick. And then with hand to the wall, the shin cuts forward, thigh muscles pull back. It happens simultaneously. Cut forward with the shin, pull back with the thigh, expand the arms. Center the chest in line, forward motion, head turning, Virabhadrasana 2. Release the thigh toward the floor. Press that right thigh back, firming the back leg. Straighten the leg, release the foot, heel and toe, step the feet together, but keep the brick. Now when we move to Utkatasana, this brick can come between the thighs. I'm taking the brick widthwise. And again, squeezing the brick, firming the outer hips into the body, I bend the knees. Here the knees are tracking directly forward because the brick is in its place. As I bend the knees, I'm mindful that the top of the buttock has to reach downward so that the lumbar spine remains extended. Then the arms sweep forward. And the work of the arms is to lift the side body up as I sit into Utkatasana and look between the thumbs. To come out, engage the thigh muscles, pull the thigh muscles up, to firm the legs, to release the hands. Let's look at that pose again in a more dynamic fashion. Here, the knees bend and the arms sweep forward and up simultaneously. Squeeze the brick to track the knees directly forward. To release your posture, arms release, legs firm. Now bring the brick back to its first position. We're going to link two postures. Uttita Parsva Konasana, extended side ankle pose, and Prasarita Padottanasana, wide legs, crown to the floor, or close to the floor. Again, to come into the posture, outer heel to the wall, it provides stability. Turning this right leg out, I walk my foot just a little further from the wall than Virabhadrasana 2. Again, the shin will cut forward, the thigh will draw back. We have to focus, concentrate on those actions. This takes pressure off the knee. When the shin does its job and the thighs do their job, the knee is opening safely. In Uttita Parsva Konasana, I extend the right side body and reach away from the wall, lengthening the side ribs along the thigh and taking the hand to the brick. And then the left arm sweeps across and lengthens. And I look into the elbow joint. From here, I'm taking both hands to the floor. I'm turning that right foot. I'm easing the feet a little wider and stepping the hands under the shoulder joints. I lift the abdomen into the body, the skin of the chest into the body. And the skin of the chest and the frontal chest are easing forward, but the hands are walking back. Chest forward, looking forward, hands back, head descending until that ultimate moment when the head must come down. Now the shoulder blades rise. The outer edges of the feet press down. Inner arches lift up. Firm legs. The sits bones lift and spread. The shoulder blades rise from the floor. To come out, head comes up, palms come forward. I heel and toe a little because I'm going to take the brick now and place it against the wall and take the toes of the left foot up upon the brick. Again, I check to see quickly, heel to arch, check, bend the knee. But how? Shin cuts forward, thighs pull back. Take your time, get those actions, particularly if your knee is tender. And then extend the left side body up and reach the whole left side of the rib cage along that left thigh and take the hand down. Then sweep the right arm across, and there's the wall, very helpful. I walk my fingers up the wall, I extend that shin to the wall, I look into the elbow crease. Uttita Parsva Konasana. To come out, up we rise, turning the feet forward. The brick is not necessary, but the feet have to go wide. The chest squeezes forward, abdomen into the body, hands walking back, chest moving forward, always looking forward, looking up, and then the head resting down. Shoulder blades up, head down. Look to see that the forearms are vertical, that the upper arms are parallel, that the elbows are parallel. Coming out, look forward, fingers forward. You might bend the knees, get a little spring in your step, and hop the feet together. Hands to the hips, up you rise. Moving along now. I'm taking both my legs and placing them on either side of the mat, palms to the bricks, right foot forward, left leg back. High lunge. In high lunge, because the left leg is stepped back, the left buttock goes wide, away from the spine. And I'm breathing into the left hip crest and spreading there. So the pelvis comes to balance. The shoulder blades ease down the back, the chest lifts. Then, very slowly, I take that back knee down. Slowly, because we want the stretch at the inner left thigh. The back leg thigh stretches back and down. Walk the bricks back under the shoulders now, and from the shoulder blades, press down into the bricks, lift the chest. Ease that front knee forward and let the hips descend. And then ease the hips back and stretch the front leg forward. From here, bring that front foot back, come up, bring your bricks forward, take the left foot between the bricks, stretch the right leg back. High lunge, second side, right leg back. To begin the high lunge, the knee joint is vertically aligned over the ankle joint. Now, I'm thinking about feeling into the back of the pelvis. Here, the right buttocks has to go wide, away from the spine. And the breath has to come across the frontal hip crest, right here, so that the pelvis is balanced. And then chest comes forward and up. Slowly, 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 back knee descends toward the floor. A wonderful stretch into the lower psoas. Down comes the leg. Back goes the shin and the foot. And then this front knee eases forward. Here, the hips descend. It's a huge hip opener. It's wonderful. From here, we can ease the hips back, but shoot the front leg forward like this. So now the back of the leg is stretching as well. Chest up. I walk the leg back, stepping up and over my mat. Raise the back knee and stride forward from the back foot and set the bricks aside. Down dog and a couple of variations. Now, you might be at a stage in your practice where you're wanting to explore something a little bit more challenging. I'm suggesting that if it's inadvisable for you to bear weight on the shoulders, these next two variations of down dog might not be the best for you. So I'm going to show straight away what you could do instead of what I'm going to show. If the shoulders are an issue, you could take the hands to the waist and step back for downward dog in this fashion. This way you'll get much of the actions in the posture without bearing weight on the shoulders. When you're ready to come out, you'd look forward and step forward and come up. This is what I'm suggesting if you can bear weight on the arms and shoulders. Come to all fours. And see that the big toes are just very lightly brushing the wall. And set the hands forward in classical Adho Mukha Svanasana down dog. Wrists are balanced across, palms are wide, elbows are firm. Then coil the toes forward. Reach back with the sits bones and let the legs unfurl. If the heels come to the floor, great. Take that left heel to the floor. If it doesn't come to the floor, use the wall. Here, I'm stretching the chest back toward the legs, bending the right knee, I'm setting that right foot up the wall, and then pushing with the hands, chest comes toward the wall. Right buttock is wide, breathing into the right hip crest, I step down. Heel to the floor or heel to the wall, arms firm, bend the left knee, go up. Broaden left buttock. Breathe into left hip crest. Push with the hands, move the chest back. Step down. Yogis, you can repeat that. I don't choose to repeat generally in the videos because I don't want to take away your agency. You can choose, stop the video, repeat, or you can choose to continue. Here is the next downward facing dog variation. It's called swing dog. And to do it, we interlace the fingers. The fingers are interlaced. The elbows are in line with the shoulders. I can feel the big toes just lightly brushing the wall. From here, I'll coil the toes forward, press the forearms down, press the wrists down, but turn the thumbs up. Lift the knees. I'm choosing to take the heels to the wall, and now, as I exhale, I bring my nose toward the thumbs. As I inhale, I bring the chest toward the legs. Exhale out. Inhale back. Back and forth we go. Mimicking the exhalation out. The inhalation back. How many times? Well, as many as you can. If your mission or your intention is to build stamina and strength, that's the pose. Swing the dog. Because it brings mobility and strength to the arms, the shoulders, and the upper back, and that's the next step toward headstand. Not going there today, but just saying that you begin to build the awareness and the movement that could take you there at some point in the future. The final down dog is actually more like a handstand, but it has some of the down dog actions. Palms to the floor. Big toes lightly brushing the wall. Coil the toes forward, lift the heels. Now I'm going to step up the wall, and apologies if my shirt falls out. Up I go. First one foot, then the other. Here, I'm lifting the sits bones, lifting the inner arms up, lifting the abdomen into the body, and the crown of the head is facing the floor. From here, I'll stay lifting the inner thighs more and more, and then when I need to come out, I'll step down. It's exciting being upside down. However, if you have issues with your eyes, for example, glaucoma, or there's been pressure in the eyeball, and I know some of you well enough to know that that could be an issue, I would not advise you to take both feet up the wall in that fashion, because it could bring pressure to the eyeball. So just be prudent. Remember the first great rule, ahimsa, or no harming. Start with yourself. Now we're going toward Shavasana. I'm taking my blanket and opening it so that I've got a nice soft platform for the neck and head. I'm taking one break. And remember, yogis, at the very beginning of class, we talked about belt loops. Here's why. This sequence has some direction for you if you're experiencing knee issues. You could even start your sequence like this, if you want to do it again. Slip the brick on its narrow side between the inner knee joints, and then just below the knee joint, please don't firm a belt across your kneecaps, but below the kneecap, firm the belt. And just let the tail end of the belt drop down. Second belt. Here is the loop. I slide it over the feet and above the knee and firm the buckle. So now my belt, my brick, is held between the inner knees, firmly by the belt. And I've got my blanket at the ready. I'm sitting sideways to the wall. I'm going to take legs up the wall. So I inch my way in, seeing that my blanket is in its position. I've got one hip partially up the wall to begin. I'm using my forearm to support me, and the legs go up the wall, and I move the spine perpendicular to the wall, and I'm inching my way toward the wall, bringing my blanket with me. Now I can feel the sits bones at the wall, the back of the thighs coming toward the wall. The heels are stretching up the wall. The tail ends of the belt are just resting, and I'm squeezing the foam, the brick with the inner knees. As I look, lifting my head, I look at the kneecaps. So the center of the knee is facing directly forward. This gives me the feedback of inner knees parallel, kneecaps in the center line of the leg, feet parallel. And because this practice has given us some of the work of knees, we could take a Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall, this variation, as our Shavasana. Then I relax the legs a little. So you can see the feet start to soften and loosen. The toes now are tipping up. The heels have shrunk down a little down the wall. But the belt is holding the brick in its place for the benefit of the knees. And then one by one, starting with the right arm, I lift the elbow, slide the shoulder blade under me. Lift the elbow, slide the shoulder blade under me. Close the eyes. Draw the senses inward. Pratyahara. Pratyahara is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and we begin to practice it in Shavasana. In come the senses of seeing, tasting, hearing, smelling, and touching. The sense of touch, the skin, softens. You can spend 10 minutes, legs up the wall, knees bound. Set your timer if you wish, or just stay until the body says, enough. Coming out of this posture, I like to take the brick out. It's a safety issue. I just set it to the side and slip the belts off. Just makes movement a little easier as well. And then being sure that no sharp objects are around me, I slide the hand under the head, bring the knees to the side, and come up. Now we're going to take a few moments of pranayama, the yoga of breath. And in this little portion of pranayama today, I want to introduce some of the terminology that you might read when you're reading Light on Pranayama, B.K.S. Iyengar's treatise on the practice of yoga and breath. We'll take our blanket and fold it corner to corner and edge to edge. And we'll stretch the blanket away and smooth it out, and then fold it in the classical pranayama fold. You can see that there's a smooth edge. This is a smooth, even edge. And there's a selvage edge that's rather lumpy and bumpy. That's the edge that will go away from the body, so that the body will come onto the smooth edge like that. I'm going to work with a wooden brick today, just as another way of supporting the lift of the head and the neck under the top blanket, like that. When I come onto the blanket, the floating ribs, the lowest ribs in the back body, are coming straight onto this blanket. If you have 2 blankets, add a second folded blanket so that you have even more support of the spine into the body and the consequent spreading of the frontal body to absorb breath. The terms that I want to share with you today. The incoming breath is puraka. It's a Sanskrit word. And because in yoga we learn over the course of our practice the names of the postures, I thought you might like to know. Inhaling puraka. For those of us that have practiced pranayama and maybe are coming to the advanced pranayama class, or maybe have our home practice, you know that there are periods during the breath process that we retain the breath. Breathing in, sometimes we retain the breath. We hold it. And then we release it. That retention of the breath is called kumbhaka. Breathing out, releasing the breath or exhaling, is rechaka. And then, because Mr. Iyengar was a very devout man and practiced in the Brahmin tradition of Hinduism in his home country of India, he envisioned that the inhalation was an invitation to Brahma, the creator. And he envisioned that the retention of breath was a celebration of Vishnu, who is the god of the great triumvirate that brought energy to effort. And he envisioned that the exhalation, or rechaka, was Shiva. Now, Shiva is often seen as the god of destruction, but that destruction was simply to move aside things no longer needed to make space for that which is needed to come in. If these images are helpful to you, inhaling, Brahma. Retaining, Vishnu. Exhaling, Shiva. If they're not important to you or significant to you, you can think of the inhalation as drawing in what the plant world has discarded. The retention of breath, allowing the breath to settle into each cell of the body. And the exhalation is an offering back to the plant world what it needs. Here we go. I'm coming onto the platform of support like this, feeling with my thumbs the floating ribs and inching my way onto the blanket. There's the low ribs, there's the blanket, here's the extension of the spine, and now watch. See how when I slide the brick toward me, I get the support of the neck and the tilting of the skull, the release of my glasses. This is the position of the skull that's most beneficial in Shavasana and in reclining pranayama. The forehead descending towards the chin, the arms wide. I'm stretching out through the feet, through the legs. It's a vigorous stretch and then complete release. Right elbow up, right shoulder blade under, left elbow up, left shoulder blade under, hands soft, fingers and thumbs released. Taking a moment to settle into the pose. I want to lift my head and just look down the center line of the body to see if the legs have drifted away. And now, starting simply by observing, watch to see where you sense the breath coming for its first approach. That's right. The breath just touches the outer nostrils. And then it it slides up the inner linings of the nostrils. It comes up along the path of the septum. I'm going to point with my fingers. Here's the bridge of the nose. Here's the cartilage that separates the nostrils. This cartilage that separates the nostrils is called the septum. And when we inhale, most likely, the breath is sliding up the septum. And as we exhale, it's warm and it's coming down the outer borders of the nostrils. Inhaling, puraka. Momentary pause, kumbhaka. Exhaling, vichaka. Inhaling, inviting the sense of creation, Brahma. Pause, kumbhaka, Vishnu. Exhaling, vichaka, Shiva. All the while, as the breath is coming in, the abdomen is completely passive. It has no involvement in the breath. It's not rising and falling like this. Instead, we're employing the breath diaphragm, this area of the body that receives the breath and releases the breath. If you need to place some soft object on the belly, just so that you can remind the belly to stay quiet, please do that. Now I begin to lengthen the inhalation, the puraka. I take it just a little bit more slowly into the sides of the rib cage. And retain the breath, kumbhaka. And releasing the breath, I take care that the chest remains lifted. Vichaka. Slow, soft, lengthened incoming breath. Short retention, kumbhaka. Slow, soft exhalation, vichaka. In your practice, should you feel tension at the temples, Iyengar called the eyes of the brain, and he likened them to the temple or the church or the sacred place, which is in fact our entire body. As I keep the temples very soft, very relaxed, should it happen that you feel tension there, you know that you might be just taking a bit too long to breathe in or out. You've got a little bit of tension going on. So back up a little. Keep the temples relaxed. Keep the forehead smooth. The eyes deeply relaxed into the back of the sockets. Puraka, kumbhaka, vichaka. And then return to normal breathing. Let the hands rest on the front body. Bend the knees one by one. Slip the pelvis a little to the side. Roll the hand under the head. Protect your glasses. Come onto your side. Stay for a breath or two, or three, or more. And then looking down, come up. A practice that involves both yoga asana, or postures, and pranayama has a profoundly calming effect on the brain, the mind, and the body. It's a very nice moment to just sit in any way that you can. It doesn't have to be a yoga posture, it might be. Just sit, yogis. Eyes can be softly opened or closed. And as you sit, allow your awareness to take the energy of the brain cells down to the heart. And then join the palms, bring them straight in. Relax the neck so the head may bow. To what are you bowing? I'm bowing to you, yogis. I'm bowing to Dory Miller, who has made these videos possible